You can create extraordinary success by turning your business into extension of who you are, into creative outlet of the soul. And that was business energetics is all about. It changed my life. It changed lives of thousands of thousands of our dear clients from around the world. And today we are going to make sure that it will help you to break through that plateau that you might be experiencing.
I got a very brief version of it from you in the past about your book and how you were showing up for your book and for your business, but it didn't work out as planned.
Every visionary and everyone who has the desire to not just make money, but how we make the money is important to us. In other words, we want to be in integrity and in service. And that was important to me. And I just wanted to help many other people and be generously paid for it.
What would you do if you didn't care what other people thought? If you were really just in it to shine a light on all of the amazing ways that you could make a positive impact on the world? You were truly in line. What
Yes.
would you
And
do?
if you didn't care if it works out or not.
Yes.
If
If you
you
didn't get that,
didn't care.
that's a key part of it. And this is why I want you to write this down and think about it, reflect on it. If you journal about it, because that makes all the difference. I could feel just even in Lenka, when you asked me that question, I could feel like that sensation in your body when you're like, oh, this is exciting. That's the space that you're meant to function in day to day. The plateau sucks. You know what I'm talking about. That point in your journey, you're growing your business and things just stop working. We don't know why, because you're doing all the right things. Why can I not break past this glass ceiling and achieve my truest, deepest desires? Well, that's why we have Lenka here today. She's going to tell us a little bit about herself, why this topic matters to her, and why it should matter to you. Lenka, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm really looking forward to dive in and give you all a ton of value. And let's break through those plateaus and let's create the growth beyond logic.
I love it. Tell us a little bit about yourself and where this conversation is really coming from.
Well, I'm a creator of business energetics, author of energetic selling and marketing, which is both a profoundly powerful methodology for growing our business more than our logical mind and some outdated strategies ever could, but also it's a movement in the world of all the purpose driven, soul driven change makers and leaders and the visionaries who just know that our essence is so much bigger than plenty of the outdated formulas for business and money and success out there. Do this, do this, do this, and you will succeed. Well, if it was working like that, well, number one, probably everyone would be a multi-billionaire. And number two, we're not even willing to go there anymore because half of these blueprints and formulas are asking us to sell our soul. No, thank you very much. So I'm here to tell you, you can create extraordinary success by turning your business into extension of who you are, into creative outlet of the soul. And that was business energetics is all about. It changed my life. It changed lives of thousands of our dear clients from around the world. And today, we are going to make sure that it will help you to break through that plateau that you might be experiencing.
I love that so much. And it's so important to think about these things. In particular, in fact, I want to give some people perspective about this plateau, about these outdated ideologies of how you're supposed to grow your business. Step one, step two, step three, like you say. And to start, Lenka, can you tell us a little bit about how this emerged in your world? I know that I got a very brief version of it from you in the past about your book and how you were showing up for your book and for your business, but it didn't work out as planned.
Yes, it was before the book was even written. And I got here to this place, yes, through pain, because I just like every visionaire and everyone who has the desire to not just make money, but how we make the money is important to us. In other words, we want to be in integrity and in service, and that was important to me. And I just wanted to help many other people and be generously paid for it. And so I tried. My first business was all about coaching and at the time NLP training, and I built it to pretty successful level. But I really desired to take it further, and didn't believe I can do it myself. So I attracted to my life a corporate psychopath who became my mentor and potential business partner. And he managed in a space of 9 months to bring my business to the ground. So I lost in a quite short period of time anything that creates a business, entire database, the website, client relationships. I willingly disconnected myself from some incredible clients, and most importantly, confidence and a sense of who I am. So that created, once my bubble burst, and I realized that actually throughout the time he wanted to destroy me. Once that bubble burst, that sent me into 2 years of unbelievable struggle, as somebody, yes, who had their life put upside down, and I couldn't recognize reality from fantasy, but mainly somebody who was working so hard to make my dream come true, and who just fell through million floors. And to get myself back up, yes, what did I do initially? What all of us hardworking determines people do. I worked harder. Did it work? No. Tried it for 2 years, 15 hours days, 10 hours day, 12 hours day, 18-hour days. Many burnouts. My marriage was in shambles, nearly with divorce papers on the table. I had a young family that at the time I didn't see much of them because I was working. And ultimately, in this pain, in 2 years of pain and struggle, I had one moment when I was literally shown the way. When I was asking out of desperation, God, what does it take to make the dream come true? What does it actually take? I don't want that much. I really want to make this business successful. And the question popped into my mind. And the question was, Lenka, what would you do if you didn't care what other people thought of you? And if you didn't care if it works out or not? And
That
out of that question, I got my answers, all of the answers. And when I implemented those answers, well, I sold them my first, at the time, high level mastermind that was the business energetics, already connecting business and spirit. And from there, it really put me on a path of rapid growth, and my work spread very rapidly into 180 plus countries. Then I wrote a book, and the rest is history, as they say. That question that sparked it all, and that question forced me, invited me, let's say it in a nice way, invited me for the first time to go into what I call creative consciousness, rather operating from reactive consciousness. Yes.
makes all the difference. And it truly, even just you asking that question, and listen, anybody who's joining us for this conversation, if you didn't write that question down, please reflect again. What would you do if you didn't care what other people thought? If you were really just in it to shine a light on all of the amazing ways that you could make a positive impact on the world? You were truly in line. What
Yes.
would you
And
do?
if you didn't care if it works out or not.
Yes.
If
If you didn't care,
you didn't care.
that's a key part of it. And this is why I want you to write this down and think about it, reflect on it. If you journal about it, because that makes all the difference. I could feel just even in Lenka, when you asked me that question, I could feel like that sensation in your body when you're like, oh, this is exciting. That's the space that you're meant to function in day to day.
Yes.
When you're in business, when you're living your life outside of business, when they come together, that's that excitement. Life is supposed to be full of joy.
Yes.
And so you come into this space where you're talking about a transition, though. We talked about the outdated way of thinking, and now this excited, aligned way of thinking. And we've asked the question that's supposed to bridge it, but we know that it's not necessarily that easy, as in ask that question, now you've made the shift. So let's talk about that shift and What do you, how do you speak about that within business energetics?
Correct. Sure. So the shift that we're talking about is going from reactive consciousness that is all around us. We've been trained to function within the reactive consciousness. So be like everyone else. Put yourself in a boxes. Make sure that you come across as professional, as credible. Make sure your branding is on point. Make sure it all looks part, and make sure you say the right word. Make sure you say the right words, because if you say the wrong words, you're not going to sell. You say the right words, you're going to sell. What else? Oh, and learn what I do, or everybody successful does, because everybody can succeed. You just need to learn how I do it. I think we can all recognize.
I'm, I'm sitting here feeling, this is where, let me give you a few other examples, because I love it. Because I was told you shouldn't be making funny faces when you're recording. You should stand up straight. You should hold yourself this way. You should smile nicely. Broadcasters smile. Hi, I'm tour guide Barbie. No, that I'm not interested. Oh, don't hand gesture wildly. I do that because that's me. Why? Ooh, this is why we're saying it's outdated. Because
Yes.
that's not what people have ever truly wanted, but people were tricked into thinking that was the way to do it.
Yes, it's not only outdated, it's limiting. It becomes limiting at some point. Is it possible to make a ton of money on these outdated ways of thinking, on reactive consciousness? Yes, it is. Many people still do. Is it sustainable? No, because at some point we either fall out of love with business, fall out of love with ourselves. We feel that we're living out of integrity, or become resentful, even towards clients, towards the business, or we create crisis in our relationships, health, and so forth. So ultimately, it's not sustainable. The other way of operating from and growing and building business is not, it's, I call it creative consciousness. It's the which contains the path of heart, which contains the path of full authentic expression, whether it comes with your straight posture or hands going up and down, whatever that looks like, but it's truly authentic. It's our soul expressed fully. That road, alignment, you could call it, is far less traveled. It requires a lot more trust, a lot more, I will say this, bravery. But I will say this as it is. It's not just the way we're meant to enjoy life and business. It's not just the most natural way. It's the most profitable way to run business, because this is where the limitless growth lies, limitless impact lies. It doesn't have limits. It literally doesn't have limits. So I can talk about this all day, every day, but let's dive into a little bit of a creative consciousness, because it can truly revolutionize anyone's business and send us through that plateau into the next growth curve.
And who doesn't want limitless success? We are ever evolving human beings. We are constantly rebirthing ourselves into new, more dynamic versions of who we are. Why would we want to follow somebody else's model that has a step 1 through 5 and then it stops? That makes no sense. I love this. And yes, I desperately want to dive in. So how do we create the shift, and how do we really embody that limitless creative consciousness of ourselves?
Sure. If that's okay, I would like to share a quick story how I myself, even though knowing all of this, I fell into reactive consciousness, what it cost me, and how I flipped back so that we'll start opening up what we can do.
I'm
Yes.
all about the stories.
All
So
right. Okay. So
storytelling, let's happen.
if I had to give it a title, it would be How I Wasted About 40, 50 grand on this baby
I love it.
before I woke up from reactive consciousness. So when I wrote this book in 2019, of course, it was my life's work, and it was very important to me that the book will do what it's meant to do, and it's to impact thousands upon thousands of change makers, visionaries, and so forth. And so what I did out of my commitment to help it to make its maximum impact is I hired really, really huge and professional agency with great track record. And so that was already monthly fee for that advertising agency was quite hefty. Plus, on the top of that, we agreed with this agency that if you want to go big, let's invest 5 figures into advertising every month, because that will also help the agency to optimize the advertising in the
Those are some favorite words, aren't they?
optimize. So okay, I did that, and then I went into it like we often do. All right, that's a lot of money. It's okay, but it better work. It's gonna work. I'm committed. It's gonna work. So month one comes, the end of month comes, and we're 5 figures in loss. And the advertising agencies, we just need more time. And I'm thinking, oh, okay, I just give them more time to optimize, and it better works. And maybe can we help somehow? Is there anything we can do? Shall we look at? And this is what we started to do within our team as well, as the weeks and months actually progressed. How do we fix this? How do we optimize this? What do we need to change? What do we need to shift or change on the bump order and upsell, so people will actually buy? So these are some of the questions. Let's figure it out. Let's fix this. What we'll need to do, some people buy. These are typical reactive consciousness questions. What do we need to do to change this, to fix this? Well, ultimately, about 4 months down the line, after I don't know how many meetings with my team, when the advertising was simply not, we were still heavily, heavily, heavily in loss, I realized, my goodness, I'm doing something completely uh, opposite to what I actually teach. What is the business energetics?
Yes.
I'm going down the path of logic and reactive consciousness. Logic, logic, logic. What do I need to do? I lovingly call this aspect of ourselves our logician. The part of us that just wants to have everything predictable, that contains everything that we learned from our environment. It's not completely stupid. It knows a lot of stuff,
Yeah.
but in comparison to our uh, creative consciousness, magician consciousness, it's still very primitive. Anyway, when I caught myself, what the heck we're doing, I said, oh, let's stop. So I said to my team, we're going to pause not just advertisement for this book, we're going to pause advertisement for all of the funnels. So essentially, we stopped everything. And I went into 3 days of not full time visualization, but of really quite intense gratitude and visualization, essentially going into the energy of outcome. Where do I want this wonderful book? How do I really want it? I was talking to this book as living, breathing being, as energy alive. And this is what I, by the way, highly recommend. I know to many of the logical minds it may sound like crazy. Try it. Just play with it. uh, Even if you pretend, it will work as well, that your book, that your product, that your service is a living being frequency that wants to come through you. So talk to it. What is your full intended impact? Who you are for? What do you want? And go into that energy of what this book wants to do. And it told me exactly what it wants to do, how it wants to reach the readers, and who it wants to reach, and so forth. And I went there with my energy. What I mean by that, I just imagined what it is like. The book asked me to do so. So I imagined the most successful outcome I could. And I imagined it as if it was already happening. Then I realized, or anchored my knowing a little deeper, that actually I don't need to do this all by myself. That's again a way of thinking of logician. It's let me pull my sleeves up, and me, hardworking Lenka, maybe with my physical team over here, we're gonna make it happen. That's logician's way of thinking. That's reactive consciousness. I don't need to do that. We have a choice. We have a choice to go into perspective where we know that when I want something, it wants me more than I want it. I mean, we could stay here a little bit, but if every entrepreneur could anchor just this knowing and believe a little deeper, that in itself has got a lot of flow and abundance in it. But I just anchored that knowing a little deeper, that hold on, I have got entire universe working for me and through me. I'm just opening myself to it. So right now, my mind, my body is becoming this center of divine operation. Whatever wants to come through me, bring it. God, bring it. Book, bring it. And out of that, by being in the energy of the most successful outcome I could imagine for the book, and by simply anchoring belief that it's happening through me, it's not happening by me, I got one idea. That idea was to let go of that super successful agency and instead reach out to one very specific. I got a name of person who to reach out, specific name. I reach out to that person. That person took charge of our ads within a few days. So altogether within 1 week from stopping a campaign, it was started the campaign of the book, and it was profitable, and it scaled from there. And the book became not just through the funnel, but it became extremely successful, going to many, 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 many places. So it has got successful, happy ending, but but that could come only. That idea was so basic,
Mm-hmm.
was so basic. Let go of this agency, go that to that very specific person, because clearly that person had some strategy that at the time was the perfect strategy. I couldn't know it, but the intuition led me there. Creative consciousness led me there. So here it is, just one story and a few openers how we can start shifting from reactive consciousness to creative consciousness.
Absolutely. And who doesn't want that? Right? I cannot think of anyone who I know who wouldn't want to live with such certainty and dedication to themselves and their intuition that they know for certain this is the right path. I can feel fulfilled and I can achieve my successes.
Yes.
Now that said, I wanted to ask you to tell us a little bit more about how to really step into that space. I know that we had briefly talked about a process people can do. I don't know this, by the way. Everyone who's joining this conversation is joining it fresh with me as well. I don't know this process, and I want to invite you to tell everybody about this. But before you do, I'm going to let you gather your thoughts, and I'm going to remind everyone who is joining us today that these types of conversations happen every single week. We are addressing everything from what's going on inside your brain to what you're actually tactically, practically doing within your business and within your life, as well as how is this impacting our life as a global society? These very important things rooted in marketing, because remember, you're never not marketing. So make sure that you subscribe, like, comment, so you can catch the next conversation coming up. Now, please, Lenka, I'm going to give you this opportunity to tell people how on earth are they supposed to tap into this amazing creative consciousness that will lead to limitless success. Go ahead.
I will share with you this incredible four-step process that really changed my life. And it is not about one-time shift. It's more about state of being. So it's something to be practiced. It's really something to be practiced. We can call it, yes, creative consciousness. I also love to call it magician consciousness. We all have inside of us our magician, our genius, the aspect of us. You can call it our higher self, you could call it your soul, whatever resonates, or the universe within. But there is aspect of you, limitless creator within, that has got access to so much more than our logic ever could. So it has got access to everything beyond our physical senses, because this is what our logician self is limited by, our senses. I see it, I believe it when I see it. Or when I touch it, or when I hear it. Whereas your magician self, the limitless creator, has got access to beyond, to everything beyond our senses, and to infinite universal intelligence, which is freaking infinite. So we know, even from recent studies, that the big business moguls of today's world, including Warren Buffett, but also many others, there was a research done, and altogether they attribute 80% of their success to this faculty, intuitive intuitive thinking, where they connect with, many call it deep mind. The greatest inventions came from this space, creative consciousness. Einstein was, of course, working. Ford, I mean, many other great minds were working with this aspect of ourselves, magician self, because that's where even the answers to the most complex questions already pre-exist. It's not something we create, we tap into it, we become an energetic match to them, if you like. Now, one overriding belief, or a core belief, or to be for you to be able to tap into magician consciousness, is this one: anything is possible, anything is possible for me, and anything is possible for me now. So even if you take this as a, if you like, a mantra, and you start familiarizing yourself, and what I mean by yourself, yes, your energy, but also your mind and body, and you start to, even, I'll use this word, pretending it is true for you. Simply imagine that you're stepping into a version of you where it is already so, where anything is possible, anything is possible for me, anything is possible for me now. Do not try to convince yourself that, you don't believe it true, but I'm going to repeat it until I believe it. No, 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 no. Shift your position from where you are to stepping into version of yourself where it always has been true, always will be true, that where anything is possible for you, anything is possible, anything is possible for you, anything is possible for you now. And stay there for a moment. What shifts? You start feeling different, right? Now, just for fun, start asking here, if I could choose from here, because anything is possible for me, and anything is possible for me now. If I could choose from here, what would I love to create? What would I choose to create? How would I love to serve? How would I choose to serve next? And it's here, which of course is leading you to your heart, to intelligence of your heart, where you get the most potent guidance and most profitable guidance for your business. So my first piece of advice is this: for you to be learning to function more from the creative consciousness versus reactive consciousness, is when you're at the crossroads. Do I trust my logic or my heart more? You know what?
Right.
For once, choose heart. Choose heart. I know it's not usual still in the business, but that's where your millions, metaphorically and physically, lie. One quick story on that. One of my clients, Emily, she came to one of our group sessions saying, Lenka, I decided that this month is going to be my first 50K month. She hasn't. She was somewhere between 5K, 10K a month as a coach, and she decided this month is my first 50K month. And when I go into contemplation, how I want to serve, how I'm going to make it happen, my logic says, well, just open your 101 or something higher level, because you just sell few and you got your 50K. Heart says, introduce this little course or reintroduce that I've done in past, but I would have to sell a lot of them to reach 50K. What do I do? So as I'm listening, okay, so this is a typical example of those situations. Well, sometimes it makes sense and it feels incredibly good. It expands our hearts. But when it's like, it either makes sense or it really expands my heart. So when I'm listening to Emily, I say, Emily, you know the answer. Trust the infinite intelligence of your heart. Trust it. And she did. And what happened is she got 50,000 minus like few dollars in cash that month.
Wonderful.
And it happened so incredible, in so miraculously. And yes, she also sold a few of her one-on-ones, but by going in authentic way. This is just one of million examples that you want to collect. You want to start telling your mind, your logician, it's okay to trust my heart. It knows a little more than my physical mind ever can. Okay, so this is one way that will really, really help you to become embodiment of creative, or if you like, magician consciousness. And the second thing is, and this is where I can share the 4-step process that I practice, and I can say that this 4-step daily process or daily routine, call it what you like, has been absolutely instrumental in me going from zero or sub-zero to millions, physically and metaphorically and in every way. um, uh, and that is where we are continually developing day by day creative consciousness and anchoring it deeply in ourselves. So if you're open to it, we can go in there.
Oh,
Yes.
please share.
So I would suggest to do this four-step process earlier in the day. If you can do first thing in the morning, great. If not, just find minimum 10 minutes. If you can find longer, great. But give yourself at least 10 minutes or so for these four steps. So step number one is essentially clear your energetic field. What do I mean by that is we really want to prime our intuitive intelligence, our intelligence of our heart. Intuition is simply that mm, communication mechanism, channel between our higher self, the magician, if you like, and our physical brain. It's not like we create ideas, we perceive them. So, what we want to do here is to start priming ourselves, our energy, to be able to receive the most potent magician's guidance, if you like. So, the first step for that is clear your energetic field. In other words, you want to address any potentially suppressed or unaddressed negativity that might be floating around. So, for instance, I remember I used to wake up with this sometimes with a knot in my belly. Because I was nervous. Will I have enough time to do everything that is on my plate today? Or will I be able to actually pay my bills? Sometimes I was worried about money. Or I introduced something and nobody bought. What if nobody buys? So there were some fears and doubts floating in me, and I would wake up with them. But what is unhealthy and what we're sometimes taught to do is to ignore it or suppress it, thinking I've got to be positive. So we slap this fake positivity plaster on top and let's go. And that's the worst thing we can do, because these energies, there are energies, they just get frozen in our body, in our energy, and they will continually and profoundly influence our ways of thinking, our decision making, our choices, our everything. So we want to consciously bring all this yuckiness up. We want to consciously release it. So call it what you like, clearing your field, but consciously inviting all the fears, all the doubts, anything that is there to come up. What I may be scared about, what might be stressing me out. Some people love to write, they offload morning pages, if that helps, do it. Or simply just become aware of specific ways of thinking that cause that fear, doubt, negativity, and so forth. And whatever it is, then you start addressing it, meaning you start acknowledging that this may feel yucky, but it's not true. It's simply energy with which you identify yourself with. That's why it feels yucky. It doesn't, because it's lie. We're making ourselves one with the lie. So it's energy, and on that basis, when I go to specificity, I will take it and I say, let's say it says, I got too much to do today, and it creates overwhelm in me. Okay, I see you, I acknowledge you, I thank you, and I release you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you can use breath, you can use intention, you can use imagination, whatever ways works for you, but you want to release this. I personally love the purple transmutive fire in front of me, imagining it and getting it in and sending it to that fire. So we breathe in and out all the possible negative ideas and energies that might be creating static in our energy. Okay, so that's the step one. Step two is you want to bring the highest idea of success you can potentially access into your body, into here and now. So whatever that greatest idea of success looks and feels like, go there, but not in a way that it might be sometimes in the future, but bring that future into now. So let's say when I was just starting with this process, at the time I was broke AF. I would take my kids to to school, and I would then say to myself, I am an owner of £250,000 business. That was for me at the time, was the phrase that anchored that energy of greatest success I could perceive at the time. into my body, so I could feel it in my body, and I would notice that I'm standing or walking a little taller, I even breathe a little differently
Yeah.
when I step into that identity. So that's the idea. You step into that identity that lives that success already. Do it for 3 minutes. Again, imagine, visualize, or maybe write, whatever works for you, but you want to feel it in your body as it already is. So you have that sense, I am that. I am that. Again, we're priming our intuitive guidance here. We're priming magician consciousness. 3 minutes or longer, as you wish. Then step 3, ask for guidance, ask and listen. So this is where I would religiously put my timer for 3 minutes. And once I already had cleared my field and stepped into that highest potential success, I would ask, okay, how does this version of me wants to express herself through me today? What is my co-creative part for me today? What's my 1%?
Right.
Because the whole universe is 99%. I'm 1%. And what, so I ask for that guidance and I would listen for 3 minutes. And this is where sometimes you get a lot of stuff that you think you already know. Fine. Take it as it's given to you by your magician, by your higher self. Sometimes you get nothing, and that's absolutely fine as well. I just know I open myself, and that guidance will come in the right time. I meant what I'm meant to know, I know. What I'm not meant to know, I'm not meant to know yet. But it'll come in the perfect time. So we're priming ourselves to be able to receive the exact $1 million ideas, metaphorically speaking.
Yeah.
So that's third step, and the fourth step is to anchor at least one of these pieces, whatever comes through, into our body by actually taking action. Ideally, you will pick one thing that is making us uncomfortable, like really uncomfortable.
Mm.
So because that means that we actually are doing something that is in misalignment with my current self and in alignment with my true self or future self, the successful self, the next version of myself. So if I was given 3 things, I make it my priority. The hardest thing for me, the most uncomfortable thing for me, the one that I feel the most resistance, I'll work with it. I'll work through it because it's a threshold of stepping into identity, and I'll do it. And others, of course, things on that list. But this is the process, in a very nutshell, that really increases that intuitive intelligence, then really strengthen our creative consciousness and develops our trust that this is the way. Will everything always works out in the next 5 minutes when you do it this way? No. It's not guaranteed that everything you will do will be successful in the first 5 minutes, but you will be ultimately successful. Sometimes it still looks like the journey is over here, over here, over here. It's not always straight line, even when you're on a path of greatest alignment, because you just got to become this and pick this gift and pick this gift sometimes. So no, it's not the guarantee of every time whatever conscious success you decided with your conscious mind, this is how success looks like, is going to make. No, it's not going to always happen. But this is the way that will take you through that current plateau you might be experiences into your next level self, and then next into the next level of income, impact, self, and into next, and into it's limitless what you can create with this. It's absolutely limitless. Plus, of course, I will say this way is also cutting through a lot of time. It's literally oftentimes it collapses timelines, because when we go through logic, it's a little bit like, and again, I could give you example upon example from my clients and on me, but maybe you can source from your own life on business something. When we work with logic and logician only, what we'll do is this: we're over here, and I want to be over here. So we start to outline the steps I want to get there, and sometimes we get there, sometimes not, and it takes a time. When you start working energetically, when you start tapping into your creative consciousness, what you actually do is something like this. You get there like that, path of alignment. Yes, you create that realm. And it happened to me many times in the most illogical ways. well, such extraordinary outcomes. And maybe if you ask yourself, how did my greatest manifestations or quantum leaps and so forth happen, there will be lots of energy path or heart path rather than logic path. So that's where I will leave it.
I love it so, so, so much. The only thing that I need to ask you to do is to make sure that you let people know when they click this, when they scan, click, whatever the link that we've provided for them, what should they be looking for?
Oh, okay, this link will take you to our website, businessenergetics.com or lenkalutonska.com, and you can look around. But one thing, if I were to suggest, one thing that you do for yourself, get this book. It's accessible through the website, of course, also through the Amazon. But you'll get a lot, really full initiation, introduction, and a very profound chapters on business energetics, and can take it from there. Yes.
And that's a game changer. I love it so much. Oh my goodness. So just as a little bit of a recap for everyone who's joining us today, because we've had a lot of really amazing insights here. We're going to go reverse here. Your 4-step process: clear your energetic field, bring your highest idea of yourself to the forefront, ask for guidance, and listen. And the final thing is to anchor one of the things that you've been told as you were listening to that highest level of yourself. Bring it into existence through action. Okay, now of course it's much deeper than that. You're going to want the book in order to really dive deeper into this. So go to the link provided. It's in the show notes. You'll be able to dive in and really take this journey with Lenka and explore, what does this look like for me to really find that highest level of self. The other thing I wanted to talk to you guys about just very briefly is, Lenka, you mentioned talking to your book as a living entity. And I think this is really important for a few reasons that I'm actually not going to go into right now. I have a conversation that I want you all to look for. It is a conversation all about brand therapy, and it does this exact thing, but with your brand. So keep your eyes peeled for the conversation all about that, because you are going to absolutely love it. Finally, you know what, guys? Just take a minute and think about that deep mind. Think about that creative consciousness, and imagine what it might look like for yourself if you were able to feel truly full, whole, as you're making confident choices in your life and your business, because that's where this is taking you. With that, I want to thank you very much, Lenka, for joining us today. I learned a ton, and I know that all the people who joined this conversation learned a lot as well.
It was my huge pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Oh my gosh, this is wonderful. I will chat with all of you soon. We'll see you next week. Bye now.